ट्विंकल।
मैं हूँ पारस।
मैं हूँ हीरा।
आज हम आपको बताने वाले हैं मानेकशॉ द फर्स्ट फील्ड मार्शल के बारे
जो
में।
कि है 1971 में जो इंडिया पाकिस्तान का जो वॉर हुआ था, उनके ये फील्ड मार्शल थे। तो ये हमें उनकी जबानी ये वीडियो है, तो आप पूरा जरूर देखिएगा। बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में, लेकिन सब टाइटल्स हिंदी में आपको यहाँ पे दिखाए जाएंगे। तो ये वीडियो पूरा इन्फॉर्मेटिव होने वाला है। हैंड्स फ्री या हैंड फ्रेंड जरूर लगा लीजिएगा, तो आपको पूरी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलेगी कि वॉर में क्या क्या होता है और कौन कौन सी परिस्थिति का सामना करना पड़ा था। तो एंड तक जरूर देखिएगा। और लास्ट में हम बात करने वाले हैं, पहले बात करेंगे गिव अवे की और दूसरी बात करेंगे प्रोडक्ट ऑफ द डे की। तो लास्ट में वीडियो जरूर देखिएगा, आपके लिए बेनिफिट होगा। लेकिन उससे पहले
अगर आपने हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो जल्दी से जल्दी सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और बेल आइकन को प्रेस कर दीजिए, ताकि ऐसे अच्छे अच्छे वीडियो और नॉलेजेबल वीडियो आपको पहले देखने को मिले। और इंस्टाग्राम में भी आप हमें फॉलो कर दीजिए, और वहां पर भी अगर आपके पास कोई भी लिंक हो या सजेशन हो तो वहां पर भी आप हमें डीएम कर सकते हैं, या फिर कमेंट सेक्शन में आप हमें भेज सकते हैं, ताकि उसी वीडियो पर हम रिएक्शन दे सके।
सो ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लेते हैं, सीधा चलते हैं वीडियो पे। लेट्स स्टार्ट द वीडियो।
You are required to ensure the security of this country against any aggression. What does that mean for you? It means that you should
Manekshaw
have
the
to
first
fight.
field marshal episode
And
1
fight
war
to
of
win.
1971। अगर आपको दूसरा वीडियो चाहिए तो वो भी कमेंट में जरूर बता दीजिएगा। फिल्म बाय जेसिका गुप्ता, मानेकशॉ।
Sam Hormasji Framji Jamshedji Manekshaw was born in a Zoroastrian family at Amritsar in 1914. One of the finest military commanders of the nation, Sam became India's first field marshal in 1973, attaining the highest rank in the Indian Army. His role as the army chief during the Bangladesh war operations had been vital to the country's outstanding victory.
So Sam, tell me about the beginning of the Bangladesh war, the Mukti Bahini.
Oh, usual political stunts. Pakistan had really cracked down in a big way. The poor old Bengalis, what could they do against the Pathans and Punjabi Muslims and the army? So they started pouring it into India.
A humanitarian crisis, a war, and the birth of a nation, Bangladesh.
जिसे बांग्लादेश कहा जाता है।
In April 1971, millions of refugees from East Pakistan began pouring into India when Pakistan's military ruler, General Yahya Khan, cracked down on the Bengali population. He was hoping to suppress their demand for autonomy.
Situation created by the Indian aggression is leading the two countries to a point of no return.
The sole bond of religion was not strong enough to hold this population of 75 million under the yoke of Pakistan any longer. Under the leadership of their popular leader, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, they demanded an equal and rightful share in governance of their own country. Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was greatly disturbed by this influx of almost 10 million refugees whom India was in no position to accommodate. She felt the solution lay in going to war with Pakistan and summoned General Manekshaw, Chief of Army Staff since 1969.
Mrs. Gandhi, in an awful temper, looked at me and read out messages from the Chief Minister of West Bengal that thousands of refugees have poured in, from the Chief Minister of Assam, the Chief Minister of Tripura. And she looked at me and said, "What are you doing about it?" "Nothing. What's it got to do with me?" "I want you to do something." I said, "What do you want me to do?" She said, "I want you to march into East Pakistan." I said, "That means war." So she said, I don't mind if it's war. So I said, oh, have you read the Bible? God said, let there be light, and there was light. And you say, let there be war, and there war? Are you ready? I certainly am not. Then I said, this was about 23rd of April. I said, you know, the Himalayan passes are opening, and if the Chinese give us an ultimatum, and I said, the monsoon will be breaking in a few days' time, and when it rains in that part of the world, it pours. Rivers become like oceans. If you stand on one bank, you can't see the
चाइना
other.
की बात यहाँ पे हो
My
रही है।
movement will be confined to roads. Because of climatic conditions, the Air Force will not be able to
फोर्स
support
की
me.
मदद भी नहीं मिल सकती है।
And if I were to go in, I guarantee you 100% defeat. I said to Mrs. Gandhi, will you now give me your orders? All right, cabinet would meet again at 4 o'clock.
4 बजे दोबारा मीटिंग।
Everybody started walking out, I being the junior one. Smile on my face as I was going out. She said, Chief, stay behind. I said, Prime Minister, before you open your mouth, shall I send in my resignation on grounds of health, mental or physical? I said, oh, sit down, Sam, tell me. Everything you told me is the truth. I said, yes, everything I've told you is the truth. I said, it's my job to fight to win, not to lose. And she smiled at me. She said, all right, Sam, you let me know when you're ready.
By December, the tension between India and Pakistan was at its height. Bangladesh's freedom fighters, the Mukti Bahini, were bravely resisting the Pakistani onslaught. The war finally began on the 3rd of December 1971 after Pakistan attacked several Indian airfields.
युद्ध स्टार्ट हो चुका है।
Strategic military planning ensured excellent coordination between the Army, the Navy and the Air Force. India did not have to fight any foreign ally of Pakistan, neither China nor the United States of America, both of whom could have been very dangerous. The war, which lasted 13 days, ended on the 16th of December with the surrender by Lieutenant General A.K. Niazi to General Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Eastern Command, Lieutenant General Jagjit Singh Arora. India had captured nearly 5,000 square miles of Pakistani territory, and 93,000 Pakistani troops had surrendered. Bangladesh became the first nation to be born after the Second World War. Indira Gandhi's rule as Prime Minister had reached its peak.
The morale had gone right down to the ankle.
टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया।
65 restored it, but very partially. Not until this brilliant victory was that morale fully restored.
Here was a complete victory. The whole world looked on India now as a great regional power. Before, we were not considered to be so powerful. But after the Bangladesh war, we emerged as a major power in the whole of this area.
This was perhaps an ideal time to once and for all put an end to the Kashmir dispute. Unfortunately, the post-71 war talks at Simla between the two countries could not achieve this, and the state continues to be an issue of controversy.
So what went wrong at Shimla?
She went there and Bhutto made a complete of her. See, I know I've just taken over from Yahya Khan. If I yield anything just now, they'll throw me out. Give me a chance. In 6 months' time, I promise you, we'll settle everything peacefully. She came back and she told me, I said, he's made a monkey out of you.
Meanwhile, Sam ensured humane and comfortable treatment of the 93,000 prisoners of war for as long as they were in Indian custody. He also ensured special care for women prisoners of war. Both he and his wife, Sillu, worked hard to ensure the rights and welfare of war widows.
While these Pakistani prisoners of war lived in Pakka barracks belonging to the Indian Armed Forces in properly constructed buildings and in strong shelters. Our troops were staying in tents throughout that year and a half that the Pakistani troops were here.
I went to Pakistan about 2 months after the conflict, and they really gave me a first-class welcome. The governor, this was at Lahore, the governor invited me for lunch,
आमंत्रित किया गया मार्शल
gave me a martini before lunch, wines at lunch, and during lunch he said, General, will you do me a favor? So I said, if I can, Mr. Governor, I will. I thought he was going to be asking me about some relation of it. He said, my staff is outside. They want to shake hands with you. I went out, and there they were all lined up. About the 11th man took his pagri off and put it at my feet.
Oh.
So I picked it up. They gave it to me. ये क्यों आपने किया? कहता, हुजूर, आप थे तो हम बच गए. मेरे 5 लड़के आपके कैदी हैं. उनकी चिट्ठी आती है कि आपने सबको कुरान शरीफ दी. वो लोग बैरक में सोते हैं, आपके जवान बाहर सोते हैं. वो लोग चारपाई पे सोते हैं, आपके जवान ज़मीन पे सोते हैं. आप जब जाते हैं हाथ मिलाते हैं सबके साथ, लंगर में जाकर खाना टेस्ट करते हैं. And he turned around, the governor was with me. अब हम कभी नहीं मानेंगे साहब कि हिंदू खराब है. And I got into trouble in my own country. The bureaucrats and the ministers complained about me. कि चीफ साहब तो उनको ऐसा रखते हैं कि जैसे उनके जवाई हैं, as if they were my sons-in-law. They complained against me, cabinet meeting, at the meeting. Mr. Gandhi looked at me, I said, Prime Minister, they were soldiers. They fought. They fought extremely well. They lost. And I'm looking after the soldiers.
Soon after the war, General Manekshaw was awarded the Padma Vibhushan for his exemplary contribution to the nation. On 1st of January 1973, he was made India's first Field Marshal, a rank that is held for life. He therefore continues to be the senior-most officer of the Indian Army.
तो इस वीडियो में आपने देखा इंडो पाकिस्तानी जो वॉर था 1971 में जो हुआ था, उसके बीच जो भी सैनिक यहाँ पे बंदी बनाए गए थे, जो लगभग 93,000 थे, तो उन्हें सभी को अच्छी से अच्छी सहूलत दी जाए, ऐसा इंतजाम हमारे फील्ड मार्शल ने किया था. और उसमें आपने ये भी देखा कि हमारे जवान जमीन पे सोते थे और उनको बिस्तर पे सुलाया जाता था, तो बहुत ही अच्छी ट्रीटमेंट उनको दी जाती थी. तो उनकी वजह से उनके ऊपर थोड़े आरोप भी लगे, वो भी हमने देखा. ज्यादा कुछ बात नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि उसके ऊपर हम ज्यादा बात करेंगे तो कंट्रोवर्सी क्रिएट हो जाएगी. तो ये वीडियो आपको कैसा लगा, कैसी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलेगी, शायद हमें तो ये सब पता ही नहीं था कि ऐसा कुछ हुआ था. तो हमें बहुत मजा आएगा. कमेंट में ये भी जरूर बताइएगा कि ये अच्छा किया हमारे फील्ड मार्शल ने या नहीं, वो कमेंट में जरूर बताइएगा.
अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा हो तो अगर आपको दूसरा पार्ट चाहिए तो हमें कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताइएगा.
हमारे नए व्यूवर्स हमारे चैनल को लाइक कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और हमें अच्छी लिंक हम आपके ऐसे वीडियो पे रिएक्शन दे
सके. तो हमें बहुत मजा आया. कमेंट सेक्शन में जय हिंद जय भारत लिखना जरूर मत भूलिएगा. तो सब्सक्राइब बटन जरूर दबा दीजिएगा. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट एपिसोड में किसी और नए रिएक्शन के साथ. तब तक के लिए जय हिंद जय भारत, वंदे मातरम.